I can't believe I'm saying this out loud, but the chosen one turns 31 years old today. It feels like just yesterday, 16-year-old Bryce Harper was on the cover of Sports Illustrated. They called him the LeBron of baseball, baseball's chosen one. And 15 years later, he and the Phillies are taking on Zach Gallen and the Diamondbacks in game number 1 of the NLCS. Hopefully, he can pick up a W on his birthday. If not, I mean, the Diamondbacks are fun too. We're going to talk about the Rangers and the Astros. Yesterday, they entered into a battle for Texas and Bregman. He almost broke the internet versus Aroldis Chapman. And speaking of breaking things, breaking news, Kim Ng, the expert GM for the Marlins, she has left the Marlins. Miami might be the dumbest team in baseball right now. Also, we have to talk about the Giants potentially hiring Alyssa Nakken as manager, which would be a first. And also, MLB, it's back in the Olympics, so a lot to talk about today. Now, just a reminder, MLB Recap is presented by SeatGeek. If you're going to any playoff games or any events, use code Fuzzy to save 20 bucks off. And right now, Underdog Fantasy is running a crazy new customer special. If you use code Fuzzy, they will match your first deposit up to $500, so don't miss out on free money. Now, before we talk about the Rangers and the Astros, we have to talk about a few pretty devastating injury updates going into 2024. The Brewers, they will be without Brandon Woodruff. He had surgery on his shoulder. It's being projected that he's going to miss the entirety of 2024. Same with the NL leader in wins from a few years ago, Kyle Wright of the Braves. He's going to be missing 2024 with a shoulder injury as well. So those injuries, they suck. We have an update on Byron Buxton. Apparently, he's going to be ready to reclaim center field in 2024. He repaired his knee via surgery, and the rumors are he should be good to go to replace Michael A. Taylor and be the full-time center fielder again. So there you go. There's the update on the injuries. Now, before we talk about Kim Ng and the Marlins, because again, I have no idea who Miami thinks they are because Kim Ng has righted that ship. Let's talk about the Rangers and the Astros. Evan Carter, he continues to make an insane first impression. He showed off the wheels with the double in the second inning. The broadcasters, they told us that Mauricio Dubon had a cannon, only to have this happen like 14 seconds later. Jonah Heim, his RBI single brought home the game's first run, and it stayed 1-0 for a while. Verlander, he was decent. The velocity was way down, but he's 40 years old. You kind of expect that. But he couldn't really get a lot of swing and miss for the first 4 innings of this game. That was a no-doubter. I would love a Diamond Leody Taveras card in MLB The Show. He went 2 for 2 with the walk, so it's 2-0 for Montgomery. That was all that he needed because Monty, he has never lost a game in the playoffs. I'm going to go ahead and knock on wood. He went 6+ shutout again. He has a 1.88 ERA in the playoffs. He's throwing his fastball a lot more because he's a tall lefty that throws 94, 95. He struck out Yordan Alvarez 3 times. He had 6 strikeouts on the night. He was taken out in the 7th after throwing just 90 pitches. But Josh Sabors, I think that's how you say his last name, no damage. Chapman, he stepped in, and oh my, I thought we were about to have another smirk moment down in Houston for Chapman. The rookie Evan Carter, he has never played in Houston, so that left field can be a little bit confusing, but he got some advice from Robbie Grossman. He makes the grab, and he doubled off Altuve because Altuve, he didn't step on second as he went back to first base. The Rangers closing pitcher Jose Leclerc, he was effectively wild, at least in my opinion. He had an easy 1-2-3 9th inning despite nearly hitting Chas McCormick a few times. The Rangers, they are 6-0 in the playoffs. They haven't lost, and again, I'm knocking on wood for you guys. So here's a quick preview of game number 2, the Rangers at the Astros. And on paper, the Astros have the clear advantage because Framber Valdez, he is holding Rangers hitters to a .251 batting average while striking out nearly 20% of the guys. Now, Evaldi, he's only striking out 16% of current Astros hitters while allowing a .313 batting average. Now, this dates back to when he was on the Yankees and the Red Sox and the Rays and everything like that. But on paper, Framber Valdez, who's probably pitching as you're watching this video, has the advantage, but we'll see who takes game number 2. Let me know in the comments your predictions. Now, while we're at it, let's go ahead and talk about the matchup of game number 1 in the NLCS. We have Zach versus Zach, Gallen versus Wheeler. On paper, just like Framber has the advantage on paper against the Rangers and Nathan Eovaldi, on paper, Zach Gallen, he has the advantage against Zach Wheeler because Wheeler, he's striking them out nearly 25% of the time, but in 95 plate appearances, he's allowed the Diamondbacks to have a .284 batting average. And on the flip side, Zach Gallen, in 71 plate appearances against the current Phillies roster, he's striking guys out almost 26% of the time with a .234 batting average. So on paper, according to these stats and the sabermetrics, Framber Valdez and the Astros, they have the slight advantage over Nathan Eovaldi, but I mean, this is a different 2023 Texas Rangers lineup. They could pop off at any moment. Same for the Phillies over the last few months. Their offense has been so much better, led by Trey Turner, Bryson Stott breaking out, Bryce Harper, Schwarbers, and Nick Castellanos. Like, on paper, I don't know who's going to win despite the matchups favoring the Diamondbacks and the Astros. Now, real quick, I do want to talk about Rhys Hoskins, Max Scherzer, and John Gray because the latter two guys, Max Scherzer and John Gray, they have been added to the ALCS roster by the Rangers. Rhys Hoskins, on the other hand, has been left off by the Phillies. Even though recent clips have surfaced of Rhys Hoskins running the bases, he's diving, he's sliding, he looks ready to go, but the Phillies, I guess they're confident in themselves. They think that they can get to the World Series with a healthy Rhys Hoskins, given the fact that it would be 2 weeks later and extra 2 weeks would do wonders for Hoskins and his health, whereas the Rangers, they kind of said, hey, if we need Scherzer or Gray out the pen, we're going to use them. But again, Bryce Harper, he turns 31 years old today, so maybe that's extra motivation for the Phillies. The Phillies are just a fun team. Maybe they rally the troops behind their captain and his birthday. Maybe they give him a gift. I don't know. It's just so crazy to me as a Vegas kid seeing Bryce Harper turn 31. He's a father of 2. I mean, I ripped out the cover, which actually is probably worth a lot of money now, but I ripped off the cover of his Chosen one back in the day when it first came out, and I had it on my wall as a young kid because he was my role model. He was a Vegas kid. It was like, wow, it's possible. But then I stopped growing and I quit baseball. But I love Corbin Carroll, and my favorite player of all time is Grady Sizemore. He actually works for the Diamondbacks right now, so my heart is being pulled in different directions. But for me, I got the Phillies beating the Diamondbacks, and I got the Rangers beating the Astros. Well, actually, for today's game, I have Framber Valdez winning, but I think the Rangers win the series. You guys know what I mean. All right, let's talk about the no good, rotten, stupid. What are the Marlins doing? As you can see, CBS Sports has reported that the Marlins part way with Kim Ng after GM declines a mutual option. So essentially what happened, and again, I cannot believe I'm saying this out loud, the Marlins, they told Kim Ng to her face that they wanted to hire a new president of baseball operations and that Kim Ng would be number 2 as GM. She would not be number 1 anymore. The Marlins, they want a president of baseball operations. They would essentially demote Kim Ng. How could you do this to her? Now, as a Guardians fan, as a Red Sox fan, as a Mets fan, considering the question marks around your current GM situation, Kim Ng being a free agent, I mean, you gotta give her the bag. Kim Ng is one of the most cheat code GMs I've seen in quite some time. She's able to turn nothing into something. Now, obviously, the deals to Avisail Garcia and Gene Segura, you could go without them, but look at these trades. Now, this is from my Twitter. Make sure you guys follow me over there. But Kim Ng, she is a rock star at her job. I cannot believe the Marlins took the person who was basically responsible for them making the playoffs in 2023 because their offense was floundering. Then she went out and got Jake Berger. She went out and got Josh Bell. She used her staff to fix their swings, and they actually produced at a higher rate in the second half. She traded for Jesus Luzardo. I mean, how could you get rid of her? What is wrong with you? So again, just to recap, the Marlins, they wanted to hire a new baseball of president operations, and it was not going to be Kim Ng. And then they told her that, hey, Kim Ng, if you want to stay here as GM, you would be number 2 behind the person that we're going to hire above you. That would be your new boss, essentially. Just one of the dumbest things I've ever seen from a franchise, and I hope that Kim Ng goes to the Mets or something like that, or the Guardians or the Red Sox, and just runs shop and shows the Marlins what they're missing because she is so good. Now, one other woman I want to talk about real quick, Alyssa Nakken of the Giants. She made history a few years ago. She was the first woman ever to actually coach in the big leagues. I think she was a first base coach for the Giants. Reports have recently surfaced that Alyssa Nakken has been interviewed by the Giants to become a manager. So Gabe Kapler, he was fired, and as you can see, NBC Sports 6 minutes ago, breaking news that the Giants have officially interviewed Alyssa Nakken, and that would be pretty sick because Kim Ng, she's already kind of breaking down the mold. If you think that women can't do a good job in baseball, you're stupid. Like, Kim Ng is an absolute rock star. Now, obviously, you're going to get those weirdos on Twitter, X, whatever it's called, or Instagram. They're going to be hiding behind blank profile pictures, and they're just going to hide behind anonymity that say, Alyssa Nakken can never do it. A lot of minor league players swear by Alyssa Nakken, so, I mean, who's to say that she can't do a great job? And one more breaking story, baseball and softball are officially coming back to the Olympics. Both have been added to the program for the 2028 Summer Games in LA, along with lacrosse, squash, I have no idea what that is, cricket, flag football. So while this is awesome, I do have a question for you guys. How exactly is this going to work? Because I think the 2028 Summer Olympics are happening from July 14th to July 28th of 2028. So are the MLB players going to just ditch their team to come play, or are they going to rely on minor league players or college baseball players? Softball, I think that's going to make more sense because I don't think that there's a professional softball league, so they should be okay in that department. But how is it going to work for Major League Baseball players trying to rep their country? Like, are they just going to stick to the WBC because the season's already over? How's that going to work? All right, let's do today's Immaculate Grid. We have the Dodgers and the Red Sox. I could go with Enrique Hernandez, but I'm going to go David Price. Please be under 10%. 3%, okay. We have the Braves and the Red Sox. I could go with Adam Duvall. I could go with, I don't think that Alberto Mondesi played for. No, I'm going to go with Adam Duvall, and I feel like I'm about to lose my pretty good rarity. 14%, so screw the rarity score. The A's and the Red Sox, I'm going to go with one of my favorite names in the history of baseball, Coco Crisp, 11%. We have the Dodgers and the Tigers. I'm going to go with JD Martinez. Okay, 17%. That's a lot. The Braves and the Tigers. Braves and the Tigers. Why is no one coming to my head right now? The Dodgers and the Cubs. Jason Hayward found the fountain of youth in 2023. We have the Braves and the Cubs. I feel like Ender Inciarte played for the Cubs after the Braves, but I can't remember that one either. What about the... Oh, Soler. Jorge Soler. Here we go. He played for both, 3%. Oh, I think I just thought of one for the Tigers and the Braves. He's on the Rangers right now. I'm almost positive that Robbie Grossman was on both teams. Okay, that was a little bit scary. Now we have the A's and the Tigers. Again, no one's coming to my brain. What's that guy's name? Dan Herron. I ran into Dan Herron when he was on the Nationals, and I'm pretty sure, I know he was on the A's for sure. And was he on the Cubs? Because no one else is coming to mind. That's out of my you-know-what. I don't know how I just did that. All right, let's just name some notable A's players. Josh Donaldson, Barry Zito, Matt Olson, Matt Chapman, Yoenis Cespedes, who was it? Sonny Gray, I think, was on. Wait, Cespedes. Wasn't he on Cespedes? Whoa, I can't type. What is going on? My brain is turning into pudding. He was on both teams. Yes, he was. That's going to do it for today's recap. If you watched all the way until the end and you're still keeping up and supporting these videos, I just want to say thank you so much. I love you guys a lot. I appreciate all the support, and I'll catch you in the next one.